Is the new 4K release of Darkman from Scream Factory worth upgrading from the Blu-ray? Let's talk about it. What is up, everybody? I hope you all been having a great week. I just finished my midterm, so I got to sit down and watch a bunch of movies. It's been fantastic, and one of those have been Darkman, and specifically on 4K Blu-ray. Watched this a couple Halloweens ago. This was one of the Sam Raimi films that I haven't seen yet, and I gotta tell you that this is fantastic. It's superhero, it's comedy, it's horror. It has all these elements that just do it perfectly, and this is a fantastic movie. So overall, the movie itself, a freaking 9 out of 10. Absolutely love this movie. But how about the 4K transfer? Let's get into it. All right, and before we get into the review of Darkman on 4K Blu-ray, apparently I do this for the algorithm. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe because it does a lot for the channel, and it's free. It's free. Well, I guess you have to sign up for it, but when you come by this video, leave a like and subscribe. I do 4K Blu-ray reviews, I do hunting videos, I do haul videos, I do a bunch of fun stuff, and it's free. And I'm from Canada, so any Canadian peeps out there, ahoy hoy. So yeah, let's get into it. Starting off with is the tech specs. This is a 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray combo pack. This is a 2-disc set, the 1.85 by 1, and the audio formats is English DTS HD Master Audio 5.1 and a 2.0 track. Starting off with is the package and presentation. This is one of the cases where I prefer the slipcover over the steelbook. For some reason, the steelbook version is weird. It's overly black, not really much detail behind it, and it has the same image, but in a majority black steelbook with a few words, and this being the silhouette. This has more color to it, it has more vibrancy to it. It's a slipcover edition, and it seems like Scream Factory has perfected their slipcovers. For a lot of the time, Scream Factory slipcovers have always been really loose, but it seems like they've perfected it here. Here is the slipcover back. Here's the spine. Here is the front. You get here a new 4K restoration of the original camera negatives in Dolby Vision, approved by director Sam Raimi and director of photography Bill Pope. You get a new audio commentary with filmmaker and Darkman superfan Josh Rubin, and audio commentary, which is an older audio commentary with Bill Pope. On the disc 2, you get a new 4K scan, so you're getting the 4K scan on the Blu-ray. So if you guys like to future-proof your collection, you will be getting the new 4K scan on the standard Blu-ray disc. Again, approved by Sam Raimi and Bill Pope. The new commentary, the commentary with Bill Pope, Dissecting Darkman interview with actor Larry Duke, The Face of Revenge interview with makeup designer Tony Gardner, and a whole slew of bonus features that have been featured in previous releases. So there's nothing new here, or else it would say new in bold italics. So yeah, bunch of bonus features to expect for a movie that has a lot of fanfare to it. Cult classic. Love, love, love Darkman. Now let's get into the image quality. Darkman is finally here and presented in stunning 4K with Dolby Vision, sourced directly from the original camera negatives, with approval from Sam Raimi and director of photography Bill Pope. Detail here is on full display here. Close-ups display so much details in the facial features. You get pock marks, you get wrinkles. Damn, you can see the individual pores. And when people are talking, you can see it stretch. It looks fantastic. Facial imperfection. You can see pimples. You can see, there's so much detail. You can see when someone's about to break out because you can see the little reddish spots on their face. It looks fantastic. You can see the razor burns from when they shaved that morning. It looks fantastic. You can see the powder that the hair and makeup team department applied to the actors so they don't have that shine in the studio lights. It's very, very detailed. The close-ups are fantastic. The bandage detail, seeing the individual hash marks and cross marks within the bandage, and seeing the frayed pieces that have those little fuzzy pieces at the end when the cloth is being unwound at the top. You know what I'm trying to say? The scarring makeup looks properly applied. As you can see the inside of the healed wound, there's also fantastic scabbing details. You can see little crispy bacon bits esque type of detail within scabs and within the healed skin. You can also see the swelling around the area, stubble, hair, the individual hairs on people's eyebrows, eyelashes, on their head. It looks absolutely fantastic. And there was a scene where Liam Neeson's character uses a camera, and you can see the little rubbery texture grip on the handle, and you can see those little individual bumps. There's just so much detail in it. It looks fantastic. And obviously, being a Sam Raimi action horror Superman hero type movie, the gore is absolutely gruesome in this, and it looks so fantastic. Wounds look amazing. The makeup effects are given a standing ovation with this 4K presentation. The attention to detail is insane. You can see how the bandages over time of the course of the film get grimier and caked and schmutz. This is how a 4K really should be. When you expect an upgrade, you want it to enhance the movie watching experience, not just for it to look good, but for it to convey what the film is trying to tell you and how the story is going along, and this is how 4K should be. Grain here, again, being a movie from, I believe, 89? From 1990. It is grainy, but it isn't extremely noticeable. Like, if you're a grain hater, it's not going to be as bad as other films that we've talked about here on the channel. And here is a case where it feels more natural, more stylistic, more filmic, as opposed to kind of like a negative hindrance on shooting on film. I've reviewed films where the grain is so bad it ruins the colorscape and it takes away detail from how boxy and how low res it is. But here, that's not the case. The grain structure is natural and feels in place and not boxy. For the most part, though, I will say that when pixel peeping for this review, because I watched this 4K 2 times because I'm just insane, I did notice compressing and those kind of like little tiny bit of clumping together when it came to the grain. But it wasn't terrible because, again, you do get a pretty high quality disc on this, so wasn't too bad here. But I had to mention it because I did see it. Wasn't too bad, but I just wanted to mention it. And then I will say there are some reverse mapping and matte painting effects that can come off quite soft and extremely dated. Like in Ghostbusters when they show the Gozer building, it looks pretty dated. Here is the same case, but that's some of the time. There's specifically one shot where someone is walking in front of a window that has like compositing, and it looks ridiculous. The guy is like cutting in and out of like the window frame. It looks silly, but I'm not gonna lie, like it fits perfectly with the tone of the film for the most part. So like honestly, it didn't really hinder me that much. And there were a couple scenes of panning shot, like scenery wide shots that were extremely soft, like DVD quality, but that has more to do with the source material as opposed to the actual 4K transfer itself. So I'm not going to dock marks on that just because it's within the film. They got the 4K scan, so that was not really going to hinder myself. But I will say all that glitters isn't gold, as there were a few spots with film degradation, with lines, with scratches, with dirt. For the most part, Scream Factory, they're not going to go in with a fine-tooth comb like Criterion. There's going to be dirt, there's going to be some scratches and some lines and some film degradations. But honestly, here, it wasn't as noticeable as compared to the Shout Select's Platoon 4K, where that was absolutely horrendous. Scenes where the compositing does work, I will say, where Frances McDormand is hanging off the building, looks really well done. Because I will say, going into this film, Sam Raimi and Bill Pope, two talented and masterful filmmakers, knew how to film a film, and the sequences, for the best of their ability, that deter anything to look dated or from happening too often. You get a director who grew up in the era of do-it-yourself, DIY, indie filmmaking, so he knows what to do with a limited budget, and when he gets a bigger budget, he's able to still maintain those artistic endeavors and those artistic flares. Same with Bill Pope, a fantastic cinematographer, and he knows how to film things. So when you have a masterful piece of filmmaking going into a 4K transfer, obviously it's going to look good. If you have a film on 4K that was filmed amateurishly with a lot of like amateurish film techniques, overblowing of lighting, they don't know how to do lighting properly, or they don't know how to film a scene for CGI or for compositing or for mapping, that just doesn't look good. You can tell just because adding a 4K doesn't really help that. It just puts it on full display. Here, because it's filmed so masterfully, it looks really good here. So that was the image. Let's get into to the HDR. This is my favorite part of this transfer. The Dolby Vision is fan-freaking-tastic. The contrast of having a very warm color palette, yet not overpowering all of the other primaries, yet it in fact brings out and accentuates the nuances, this such as cream-colored suits, very 90s looking clothing, recognizing the different shades within the same color gamut, like having a dark blue but having a navy blue in the same kind of outfit. You can tell the differences. It looks fantastic. The facial complexions look absolutely gorgeous with reds overall, just looking so fantastic. There's that scene with the red light on his face. If on my OLED, it looks gorgeous. I love when colors just pop on the screen, and I'm not into over contrast and over vibrancy, but when it's done in moderation and it's done stylistically, that's not overpowering primaries and it's not making people look like lobsters, and it's done right, it looks amazing, and this is that exact case. The color timing is fantastic. Blood looks rich. The flames and the explosions are vibrant and very three-dimensional. The color timing, again, going back to that, it balances very nicely and it matches the mood of the scene, which is definitely elevated with that Dolby Vision passover. Color accuracy when it comes to the wounds, where you can see the redness of the blood, and then you have the wound around it coagulating blood, and then you have the swollen redness of the skin because it's obviously been traumatized. You can see the tissue and how the red runs off. It looks fantastic. The black levels are inky as ever and retain all the information of the 35mm celluloid, which has to offer. Shadow detail is fantastic, and I didn't notice any kind of murkiness from darker scenes. In fact, more detail is prevalent compared to older releases that I have here on the Blu-ray. And what's cool is that there are scenes of cool tones and warm tones within a singular shot, and it is displayed both accurately. There have been times where I've seen shots that have been color timed to be overly warm, and then when they have a cool tone in it, it looks darker or gray and doesn't really have that bluish tone. Here, it has both. You know, it's fantastic. The Dolby Vision looks fantastic. Visually, this presentation is just a treat for the eyes. It's easy on the peepers. Now, this is where it gets a bit negative. It's not that negative. We're getting into the audio. The audio presented is a 5.1 DTS HD Master mix, and overall, it felt quite anemic when it comes to the bass, especially for those with a setup and a subwoofer. I felt like there was something that needed to be done. You know, there are decent scenes, again, with utilize those 5 speakers. You're gonna get some pretty good surrounds, and with the thunder, the rain, the pops of firearms, people being punched, the cracking of bones, you're gonna get all that, and it's gonna sound pretty decent. But at that point, the audio is passable, and I was unfortunately left feeling like there could have been more done with the amount of opportunities that were available. So overall, as a package, really, really fantastic artwork. You got a great looking 4K disc. There are some hindrances to it. Again, the grain can have some compressing parts. There are some soft shots. Again, there are scratches, there are degradations, there are dirt. Not that much to where it affects me too much, but it's still there, especially for a boutique release, especially for Scream Factory, who have been one of the most expensive in the lineup. I got this for 40 bucks after tax, and overall, for being, you know, a fantastic film, I would say this is a highly recommended. I would give this an 8.2. 8.2. No, I'll give this an 8.3 out of 10. This is a fantastic release. Scream Factory, you done it again. You completely impressed me. Obviously, there's things that you could have obviously done more into it. You know, but for what it is, I will say, yeah, this is a pretty good release. I would even recommend a blind buy. It's a really fun movie. This is definitely better than the Blu-ray that I have here from 2010, I believe. No, taking out of the custom slipcover. This is from 2011. Definitely looks better, and I would say yes, this is a go up. Go out and pick it up now, because if you can get it with the slipcover looks fantastic, and you get a whole bunch of bonus features. Obviously, I've docked marked because there's not that many new bonus features, so you're not going to get more than what you expected if you have the original Blu-ray release. but it's still a great looking transfer and a pretty good pickup. Highly recommend it. 8.3 out of 10. So that was my review of Scream Factory's 4K release of Darkman on 4K Blu-ray. I just said that. Let me know down below, what do you think about Darkman? Where do you think it ranks in all of his films? I love this, but it's up there. It's one of my favorite filmmakers, from one of my favorite films. I always love popping this on. It's such a fun movie, and I highly recommend it. So yeah, that was today's video. Hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I have been Mason for the Mockbuster YouTube channel. Please have yourself a good day, night, evening, afternoon, morning. Whenever you're watching this, please stay safe and God bless. Peace, cheers. Long live physical media. See you guys.